It's a great day to talk hockey on HabsCast.
Yeah, what a great day for Habs fans. 9-3, beat the Ottawa Senators. That's always that always makes for a good day, right? Great day to
Yes,
talk
sir.
hockey. I'm joined here by Rick Springhetti, our resident chief scout of Recruits HabsCast. How are you today, Rick?
Oh, today I woke up in a fairly good mood. I'd say 80% good, 20% not great due to the baseball score. But hey, this is a hockey show, so we're all hockey all the
Yeah.
time. It's a Habscast, so we're happy.
Well, we can talk for a couple minutes about the Blue Jays, I guess. I mean, I didn't do a. Usually, I do a Habscast after the game, but you know, I put out a feeler there yesterday and said retweet or say something if you think you want to come on after Blue Jays game, and there was barely any response. So I said, okay, I got the hint. We'll wait till today to talk about the game. Yeah, I was quite enraptured by. I mean, what a friggin' game! It's too bad for the Blue Jays. Um, I mean, 4-3, 2 outs to go, ninth inning, that home run. When he hit that home run, I thought, you know what? I have a bad feeling that they got friggin' Yamamoto. Blah blah blah. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to the Habs. Let's just play this here, Rick. Oh yeah, that doesn't look like the Habs, eh?
No, I don't recognize those green colors.
You know what? I can't play that because I'll get tagged. There it is. For some reason, it was showing extended, and I can't do more than 5 seconds. What a shot, eh?
Brilliant.
New Hook
You know,
wins it in
Grant,
overtime. Okay, this is what I want to show here. Look at the chemistry between Batherson and New Hook, eh?
yeah,
They're,
beautiful.
they're, what a pass by Batherson to Newey to spring him there. Beautiful, eh?
Oh, they'll score a lot of points together, and New York will be happy to get those passes.
Wow. Best pass he's got all year.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's playing with a playmaker like Demidov. So that's something else. No, but
I think Madison should get the Habs sunglasses there that they give out after every game there for the Habs player of the game. Go over at the next locker room and hand it over to him last night there.
Imagine, eh? McDermott would have just been, whoa. You like to see McDermott sitting on the bench for 2 periods, or just he never, all he could do was glare and yap at Jack-Eye, but Jack-Eye points to the scoreboard, and McDermott didn't get a shift the last 2 periods. I was gonna tweet that, hey, are we gonna see him here in overtime, or some of that McDermott speed. Anyway, Struble, he's a one-punch knockout kind of guy, isn't he?
Yes, he doesn't have to do it often, but when he does, he makes it count, right? He's incredibly strong. Again, he's not the spectacular drop the gloves like Jack-Eye is with the big reputation and the nickname and all that stuff. But oh man, when he has to drop them or when he chooses to drop them, he's good at it if he has to. He doesn't have to do it often. And he's a pretty good hockey player too, and he matches well with Hudson, and he hits hard even because of his speed. It's not like a speedster, but he's got good enough speed and especially his power on his core. He hits like a Mack truck, man. When he laces into somebody into the boards or an open ice, you feel it. It's not like those big heavy guys that because they don't have that explosion. It doesn't feel as hard. Struble hits and it hurts. And boy, he could drop them too with his fist if he has to, and he showed that last night. What a great great way to stand up for his teammate.
Yeah, for sure. He like that's the second. He's tagged a couple of guys now, and and hurt them. Legenek in the preseason and now Cousins, which was kind of cool to see that it was exacted a bit of revenge on Nick Cousins for his slash on Demi, and he'll think twice about it now next time, right? Doesn't just have to be Arbor that comes after. Now Struble can do the job too. I liked what he stood up to McDermott too, right? When McDermott kind of went after Hudson a little bit, Struble came in there, and he'd have dropped him with McDermott if he had to. I think he's an underrated scrapper. He's he hasn't done it much, but it's because he's played in the U.S. and college. They don't really fight. He told me in an interview at one point he'd never been in a scrap in a hockey game. But then I asked him, well, yeah, but can you handle? Oh yeah, I can. I think off ice, maybe a couple of times, right? I don't know that much about fighting, but when you do win a fight or two, you build your confidence, especially if you haven't been in many. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him drop the gloves maybe a little more often than he has in the past, now that he's been so successful when he has fought. It was funny, Gally talking about, size mismatch there, I don't know, like Nick Cousins, what, 5'11", and Struble's 6 foot? Like, it's not like height-wise, at least there was a size mismatch, much of one. Like, wasn't like it was a 6'5" guy fighting a 5'10" guy, right?
No. And at the same time, too, it's not like, Cousins is that kind of a player. He's a bit of a rat, if you will. He's been suspended many times. He plays that kind of dirty game. And, okay, fine for him. That's what he needs to do to stay in this league. But if you're going to play that game, well, sorry, but guys are going to want to take you on. It's not like a few years ago when a Paul Byron, right, hit, I think it was Mackenzie Weegar, and it led to something. It's like, I could have a guy like that. You're like, all right, I could understand because it is an accident. Cousins goes after it. He attracts that kind of incident. So too bad. Like, if that's the style you have to play to be in the league, well, suffer the consequences.
Yeah. Well, Steve, who always likes to disagree there, chimes in. Cousins is 185, Struble 205. That is a mismatch. No, that's 20 pounds difference. A mismatch is when it's 230 against 185. Like, 1 inch difference in height, 20 pounds. There's a little bit of difference there, but it wasn't like it was Jacky fighting Cousins. And I'm glad it was Struble that ended up stepping up and doing the job. They're basically in the same class. You could say, oh, well, he's one class higher, but it's not like it was a heavyweight against a lightweight, right? It was close enough in size. Like, Hudson wasn't going to drop him with Cousins. So, I thought it was cool that it wasn't Jacky, because that is a definite mismatch. So 205, 185, close enough, right? It wasn't going to be Hudson fighting him. So good. I'm glad the fight got out of the way. That crap's out of the way, hopefully now, and they can play hockey from now on when the two. But there's a bit of rivalry there. There'll still be some bad blood between the two teams down the stretch. Glad the Canadians could. They've been blowing some leads lately, Rick. What did you think of Monty's game last night?
He's still not back to where he was last year, and you know it. He's shaky. It's obvious. There was a little bit of bad luck in a sense yesterday, and the first goal was like a lot of people around, and the second goal too, where it got banged out and he was out of position. The third goal was really him just overthinking the game. He made it obvious that he was going to look for the cross-ice pass, and Stützle didn't fall for it. He did a really nice play. He did a few decent saves. This is the kind of game, to me, where a goaler that is slumping, this is the first step into getting his groove back. He did one or two decent saves. And at the end of the day, he won. We know when a forward is slumping, and they'll say all he needs is a lucky goal. Well, this is a lucky game for Monty, and hopefully it'll just give him a little something to build on. Again, definitely not the Monty from last year. I wouldn't say he played well, but I think he played well enough to start getting the ball rolling and then give himself a little bit of confidence to build on.
Yeah. Well, he got the W, right? At the end of the day. He's 3-2 in his last 5, believe it or not. Right? So
unfortunately, this game won't do much for a save percentage too, because Ottawa didn't take that many shots and a few of them went in. So you're gonna look at the save percentage and go,
his save percentage is still taking a beating, and I didn't like his positioning on the Stützle goal there. Like,
right.
You know, he overplayed the deke, and you know, gave him that top corner, and he took it. Great shot by Stützle. Give him some credit there for sure. But
yeah,
I thought I didn't like his how he played it, and he has to come up. He's got to start coming up with the big save. That would have been the big save, right?
Yeah, right.
But it's not easy to, and I mean, it was pointed out to me last night by a goalie on Twitter, and he's right. Like, it's not easy when in the first 25 minutes the Habs only gave up 6 shots.
Right.
So, you know, it's not always easy to get in the game when you're not getting a lot of shots, and then all of a sudden you get a few, and sometimes it's difficult for a goalie. But I'd much rather, you know, given Monty's save percentage this year, I'd much rather a team gets 15 shots on goal than 35 against them.
But at the same time, when you're struggling and you're already overthinking, not getting too many shots can't help, right? You're like, oh man, that's how you're thinking. You don't have time to just get into the flow of the game. And if I could make a parallel between Monty's start of the season and Newhook, right? Last year, Newhook was struggling quite a bit. Maybe in the second half he played better, but for most of the year, especially point wise, when he got an opportunity, he either overplayed the puck, would shoot erratically because there's nervousness in the air. He's trying to rush things. He's overthinking. This year, as Newhook is playing a lot better, he's getting quality shots on net, right? Was a crossbar and that goal today. It's kind of the same thing, I think, with Monty, right? Where he's overthinking. His positioning is off often because he's trying to anticipate instead of just taking what's given to him, focus on his position, try to let the puck hit him. Now he's moving quickly. He's going side to side. Even on the goals that were not really his fault, his pushes, I thought, were almost erratic a little bit. He was getting himself out a little too far. Just stay back, let the puck hit you. Don't overthink it. Take what's given to you. And he's not doing that this year. And that was the parallel I meant with Newhook, where when you're struggling, you overthink, you do too much. And when you do too much, you make more mistakes. And that's what we're seeing right now with Monty, in my opinion.
Yep, for sure. Oh, just got an update from Tina there. Felix lost, so I'm not missing that much. The sacrifices I make for HabsCast, I'm a tennis junkie, and Felix was playing in the final against Yannick Sinner, but it's over. He lost in straight sets. No big surprise, but hey, I think he's going to be in the ATP finals, and I'm happy about that. So no, I agree, Rick. That's a good point. The Canadians are finding ways to win. You know, they're playing at least, if it's not the first half of the game, the second half of the game, they're dominating at some point. And when you dominate for a period or more, you often can at least come out with a point. They were all over the Sens, I thought, the first half of the game. You know, that team speed. I saw a statistic on it. So far this year, I believe it's Colorado and Edmonton are the only teams that have had more bursts of over 20 miles per hour, like by skaters. So the third fastest team in the league, and you couldn't say that about any Habs team.
Oh no,
the past 3 decades, probably, right? It's been
right.
So they are. It's not just, we're not just seeing it. It's statistically factual that the Canadians are one of the fastest teams in the league, and that that puts a lot of pressure on opposing teams, especially opposing defensemen. And the Canadians are just beating teams with skill and speed, which it's been long overdue. The Flying Frenchmen are back, you could say.
Right. I would say, yeah, that's so true. And they're playing, they're using their speed to create offense, but they're also using their speed to play good defense. When they're focused, they're very quick on the puck handler and the puck carrier. I mean, not much happens, and it forces opponents to shoot from far. It forces opponents to run around a little bit. And when you have that positioning and that speed and you cover the middle of the ice, and I always go back to this a lot, right? They really play well in the neutral zone. They were not getting into the zone very comfortably for most of the game, Ottawa. It was a very, very difficult zone entry because Montreal were doing a really good job getting onto the puck carrier and cutting down the options. And it's also causing Montreal to do really effective zone entries because they're getting to the puck quicker with speed, and they could make plays now. And now you got really good zone entries with skilled players, and that's what causes so many scoring opportunities. Because let's face it, the score was tight, but in terms of scoring opportunities, it wasn't particularly close. Montreal were just, goal posts and breakaways, and so many things happened that if they would have buried just a few of those shots, it would have maybe been a bit of a blowout. That's how, to me, that's how dominant they were yesterday versus Ottawa.
Yeah, for sure. No, the Habs are flying. They're tied for first overall in win percentage. Colorado has the most points, but Montreal is tied with Jersey, 750 win percentage, 9-3. That's fantastic. I think Winnipeg is tied with them too. 18 points in 12 games. I was looking up an interesting. Yeah, I was looking up an interesting stat there, Rick. 6 teams in the West are below 500, and no teams in the East are below 500 right now.
Wow.
One team is at 500, the Islanders, and every other team in the East is above 500. So that's there might be a bit of a shifting in. I didn't expect the Metropolitan Division to be that strong this year, but Pittsburgh's playing a lot better. Obviously,
Yeah.
They're tied with New Jersey and Montreal with 18 points. One more game played, but still. Well, wouldn't have predicted that going into the year.
No.
The Crosby and Malkin have found their fountain of youth there, obviously, and Crosby never left it. I think he's gonna be a teenage. He'd play like a 25-year-old for another decade, but just when you're a generational player and you're that special, I had somebody email me yesterday and talking about how getting Crosby no different than getting Kadri. That he said, I agree with you not getting Kadri, but I feel the same way about getting Crosby. And you can't compare Kadri and Crosby. And you just can't. Crosby has never been scored less than a point per game in a season in like 19 straight years. Like, it's just, nobody's ever done that. Nobody in the league has ever come close to doing that except Crosby. He's going to be a point per game player for another 5 years, maybe 10. Like, seriously, it's just, he's a freak. And he trains like nobody else trains in the off season. Kadri's had one season over a point per game in his career, and Crosby's had none under a point per game. So Kadri is a slow decline here at 35. Crosby at 37. I don't see a decline yet, and it could be 7 years before you start to see him. Okay, I could see him playing to 45. I really could. What do you think?
Oh, he brings you so much in terms of just fitting into this team. I think when you have, and Suzuki's showing great leadership, and Matheson is being up there, and they're building a really nice core. But you bring in a guy like Crosby that could be the the perfect elder statesman for this team while still being a great player, right? He brings you that sort of background, that pedigree, that experience that'll just be perfect for this team, I believe. As you said, he's the thing with Kadri is he's a skilled player and he's still, somewhat successful. He's doing okay on a bad team. But when Kadri starts to break down, he'll break down because he relies a lot on his skill and all those things. Where Crosby, I don't think is going to break down soon. But on top of it, he's such an incredibly intelligent player that he could find ways to be successful, even if the body does slow down a bit. He's ridiculously smart. He does everything right. It's not like considering what Kadri's going to cost you, because the market right now for a top 6 center is just really a seller's market, right? There's around 20 teams looking for a center right now, and Montreal's just one of them. I just think for what he's going to cost you compared to what it would probably cost Montreal to acquire Crosby, I think I would just go for Crosby than over a Kadri any day of the week. And even if he costs you more, I think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, no, I agree with there. We had a little glitch. We're live here, so there might be the odd time when we come in and out. It's Sunday morning. I guess there's lots of traffic on the internet. Apologies if we have any glitches with the internet here. No, and I mean, yeah, the way Pittsburgh's going, forget about Crosby. Anyways, like I know we're talking about him perhaps joining the Habs, but unless Pittsburgh collapses, but that's a possibility yet. It's still so early in the year. They can have a 5-game. Like I don't expect them to be near the top all year, and if they do fall out, yes, the Canadians, I think, stand as good a chance as any to get Crosby.
Absolutely.
Because he's only going to agree to go to a certain amount of teams. It's going to be up to Sid if he decides he wants to move. But one of those teams is Montreal. I can guarantee you that. And B, just the Canadians are a favorite to get him. And they've got the assets. B, they've got the assets to do it. A lot of teams don't. The Canadians have they have the cap room. C. So assets, Crosby agreeing to go there, right? And
because let's just for fun, let's just imagine the teams he might say yes to, right? Colorado, people have mentioned that he'd love to go play with Nate McKinnon. Well, what does Colorado have to give Pittsburgh? They have no draft picks coming up, and they don't really have any prospects in their organization. Florida, the same thing. Tampa, the same thing. I don't know which teams he'd accept to go for besides those teams, right? And none of them have anything to offer Montreal. Even Carolina, I looked for fun, like a team that some people might say, well, they have a lot of cap space and they're in the hunt now. They have some decent prospects in their system. And they have one first-round draft pick this year and next. It's not a heck of a lot because I don't think Pittsburgh is thinking, just give me a bunch of picks. They'll want good prospects too. They want guys that they could start putting into the lineup now and get the ball rolling. And that's what Montreal has to offer. So, no, exactly. I think if Crosby does become available, you got to think Montreal's the number one contender to get him. People even said Toronto, and I'm like, well, what has Toronto got to give? They kind of maxed out all their chips. I think right now it's going to be the beginning of the I think the window's closed for Toronto. Sorry, Maple Leaf fans.
Oh, geez, I hope you're right. Here's a nice comment, and I did mention it last night in a tweet. Brian77, thanks, Brian. Just joined the live. What about Kapanen's play on Denver's goal? So little details in the game. Maybe you already mentioned it. How about that, Snake? Snake. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that part at the end. I'm not doing this to gloat against Snake or anything, but you know what? Like Kapanen, if you do keep an eye on him away from the puck sometimes, that whole shift, he made about 3 or 4 just intelligent plays that just, like when the defenseman came up, that was the part. He always drops back, covers him perfectly. And then the puck came back to him on the point. He kept the play going 2 or 3 times. Yeah, he didn't get an assist. in the game or on the goal. That goal, Demidov's, but he deserved one. He was just he was super away from the puck and positioned, kept the play going 2 or 3 times. Those are the kind of things, and I'm glad that you noticed it, Brian, and I appreciate you mentioning that so that I don't, so it doesn't look like it's just all me with the Kapanen in love. There's other people that can appreciate what he does too, right, Rick?
Second period too, Grant. Demidov took a really good shot on net, a wrist shot, and again, it was a drop pass by Kapanen, and he did a really nice play where he kept his feet moving, drew one of the 2 defenders towards him, and that gave Demidov a really nice shooting lane. A little something too when we talk about the nice subtle things that Kapanen does. And by the way, I believe he was the 7th Montreal player with the most ice time yesterday. So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like we've been joined here by one of our YouTube members. Dave, you might want to lower your screen down. It looks like part of your head's cut off there. That's a little better, my friend. Well, you could go up a little bit. You kind of somewhere halfway in between, Dave, if you don't mind. There. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so Dave Brown was the very first guy to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I really appreciate that, Dave. And he emailed me last week and said, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind coming on, talking a little Habs hockey." So I hope your mic's on there, Dave. We're going to bring you in here now. One of the most feared fighters in NHL history, Dave Brown. Dave, how are you? Oh, that might be a different Dave Brown.
Yes, hey, he's just a little bit bigger than I am.
Yeah.
Hello, Dave.
Hello there, Rick. How are you?
Good. How are you?
It was wonderful watching the Habs. They're just so entertaining to watch. And the first line, how can we go any better than them? I mean, they're just they're tremendous. They're really entertaining to watch, and I love being a Habs fan right now. It's a great day to talk hockey when you're talking Habs.
Love it.
Right on, David. I'm going to assume that you remember the glory years in the 70s. There,
I immigrated from Scotland in '74, and I watched Guy Lafleur score a hat trick when I was in '76, and I became a Habs fan, and I've been a Habs fan ever since. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, so I got to see the glory years. He was my favorite. So
yeah, right on.
Can't go wrong with that.
Were you into curling before, like one ice sport before you emigrated, or?
No. I was into soccer. I was a footballer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's not too surprising. But what you think the Habs can contend this year, Dave?
I really do. I think the brand of hockey they play, no team can just sit back because they have so much skill and they're just so good offensively that they'll win the 6-5 games and stuff like that. And they could, if Montreal can get back to being the goaltender he was last year, and Dobich keeps playing as well as he has, we're going to have a very, very good team. Our defense is awesome. Dobson's made a huge difference to the defense. Him and Matheson are having, a tremendous union, and Hudson. Well, what can you say about Hudson? What can't you say? That goal last night was just unbelievable. And they're only playing together for 12 games. Wait until they have 6 months or a year behind them. Once they get to know each other, I mean, they're just going to be amazing to watch. So it's really it's a great time to be a Habs fan because I'm retired now. I retired last year, and I get to watch every game, and I'm just loving it. Like it's amazing. Great.
Wow. great comments there, Rick. You might be losing your job here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit intimidated there, Dave. For someone who grew up in a non-hockey culture, you're really picking it up quickly, and you're getting this online stuff going very well, my friend.
Yeah, well, anytime we can talk Habs, that's being a Newfoundlander and living in St. John's for 25 years. Newhook has really come through this year. It was great to see him score on the break last night, and Demitov. I mean, they're just amazing players to watch. Kapanen's playing well. That line's playing very well, and hopefully we can keep them together. And Kapanen's playing a lot better than I knew he was good because he had a great year in Sweden last year and scored a lot of goals. And he played well when he first came over to last year. But he's actually doing better than what I thought he would, to be honest. He's very defensive. He's got some offensive flair, and I think he could do quite well. I enjoy that line, and it's not the Zharovsky, Caulfield, Suzuki line, but you need to have a second line scoring, and they're getting some scoring off it, and that's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I was going to ask you where you are, and I guess you answered. Are you in St. John's or?
I'm in St. Catharines, actually, in Ontario. I came up to Ontario about 30 years ago.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you're Newfoundland. Okay. You were saying Newhook is. Yes.
No, I immigrated to Newfoundland when I first came to Canada.
Oh, okay. All right. So then, So, that's as far as you get. Like that was. Did you come by boat and you just you ran into the island and that was it?
No,
I'll stop here. Or?
We flew there and I lived there for 25 years. Wonderful people.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Great place to grow up, and and down in Newfoundland, you're either a Habs fan, a Toronto fan, or a Boston fan. And many of my friends are Boston fans and Toronto fans, and I got to be a lot happier than they were.
Yeah, there you go.
When we scored that goal to make it 4-4, I mean, it was just I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Yeah,
and they were just wonderful hockey back then. Great rivalries, and it's just very, very good to watch. I mean, I guess Ottawa's going to become our main rival now because they're a young team on the rise as well, and we're going to be seeing them in the same division for the next number of years, and hopefully we can have close contests with them. I think Toronto's on the way down. I think they're really going to miss Marner. Yeah. And yes, that's hope. I mean, I saw the stats the other day, or the table, and Toronto were in last place. And my brother sort of phoned me and said, "Look at the stats." He said, "Toronto." And it was wonderful to see, right? So
yeah,
I get to pick on, because being at work here for many years, I got picked on because my Habs weren't doing that well. Each time I can start picking on them, and
absolutely. Well, you've got a nice. I like your mix of accents there, Dave. That bit of Scottish, bit of Newfie, bit of maybe Southern Ontario, and it I would not have identified it. That's a pretty cool that you asked to come on, and loved your comments, and we'll have you on again soon. Okay.
That sounds great. Appreciate it, boys. Take care.
Thanks for coming on.
Have a good day.
Wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
That was
Dave
fun.
Brown, not the former pugilist for the Philadelphia Flyers, but actually a Scotsman that emigrated to Canada, settled in Newfoundland. Great stories. I love to hear. There's such a nice cross section of Habs fans in the world, right? And
of course,
but also ones that come and settle. How many immigrants from the past 50, 60 years became Habs fans when they moved to I bet you it's more than any other because of their success too. Obviously, back in the 70s and stuff, right? So many immigrants became Lafleur fans and Habs fans, and passed it down through the generations since too, right?
It's so much fun, and then it brings people together. You could go anywhere in the world and find Habs fans. If you go online, people come from all over the world commenting on social media, and we talk with them, and we find out they live in all kinds of places. So it's a community that's fun to join, people.
Absolutely. I no, it was Dave was still on there, so I kicked him off. You can it says kick him off the yeah, he was distracting me a bit there. But yeah, it's no, it's really cool that what we're doing here, if you're wondering, folks, is you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and one of the perks that you will get, I mean, we're going to add you to the Patreon, to my Patreon page, and you'll get exclusive scouting videos that are only available on my Patreon page, and articles too. Rob Trask is going to start writing. We might get the odd draft article from you, Rick, as you get some time here, hopefully, and I'll start contributing a bit more of writing, seeing that I'm, technically a journalist. I guess I should be writing. So I'll get some articles on there too. But if you're you're a member of our YouTube community, and we have 8 so far, and thank you very much, including Dave Brown. He was the first one, but you will have an opportunity to come on our podcast and talk Habs hockey. As you can see, I mean, what a great guy, Dave. The neat story
Oh
he
yeah.
had, and he had some really good points. So, uh, you know, join us on HabsCast. Become a member. Every bit, every bit that's contributed, it helps. It helps us out. And thank you very much, Dave, for coming on. That was great.
Absolutely, and it's again to get back to the Habs and what and Dave was talking about the depth of the team, and that's such a great point where you're seeing that second line is producing, and the Evans line has always been a really good line, and then they play well together, and they're a factor, and boy, Doc Balduc Valeno is really starting to be interesting to me too. I mean, Doc is
Yeah.
really finding his game, right? He was, again, the hands are not there 100%. It's going to take maybe a bit more time, but he's putting pressure. He's using that big body. He's very hard to move, and he's getting engaged. And he's feeding off Balduc, who obviously likes to lay out those big giant hits, right? And Valeno's finding his game on that. That's a tough line to play with. They're not always producing because maybe again the timing is not there yet 100%. But boy, down lower, they've been a really, really difficult team to handle for the opponents, and it's really fun to see Doc coming back strong and really hoping that he stays healthy and fully rediscovers his game.
Yeah. No, good point. And Bolduc was very physical. Just 3, we've gotten Sheldon said Dave was a great guest. JM, good job, Dave. And Juice 03, but you guys should definitely bring Dave on the show more. Yeah. Well, we had no idea. This is the first time trying this, folks. And Dave, for all we know, could have been a serial killer, that no, but I don't think he is. I think we got a good, he's and not one of the biggest goons in NHL history like Dave Brown from the Flyers. No, Dave was great, and I'm so glad we tried this, and we'll try it more in the future too. Become a member, and you can come on with us, and we're building a Habs community here. By the way, if you're watching this on X or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, come on over to the YouTube channel, HabsCast YouTube. You'll find this live, and you can join the live chat and add some comments. We're up over 500 people watching on a Sunday morning. That's great. You went to see Blainville, Boisbriand this week. What were your thoughts on Xavier Villeneuve?
You could see the mad skills, right? I think at the same age, he might be even better skater than Lane Hudson was. And I'm saying Lane Hudson because that's the comparable, right? Undersized offensive defenseman that moves really well. He's an effortless skater, accelerates really quickly, moves fantastic edges, just amazing. And his mobility is fantastic, great sharp turns, good lateral mobility, but not the best game I've seen Xavier play. Definitely not. He struggled down low. Halifax was a difficult opponent, and I've spoken to people that follow Halifax more closely than I have, and I've seen more of them. They've become a really difficult team to play against. They play a very disciplined, defensive, mistake-free game. No, they don't give you a lot of options, and I think Xavier struggled with that a little bit. Again, he did well with the puck. He creates a ton of opportunities, got a lot of shots off, finds lanes like there's no tomorrow, right? He knows exactly where to do offensively, but he's going to have to learn how to play down low against those heavy, physical, hard teams. And that was maybe the big challenge for him. And again, it's not going to, I'm not saying he's not a top 10 pick, not at all. But just interesting to see him not being the guy that, not having a perfect game. And he's going to have to learn how to deal with that. That's going to be, doesn't help, not that it doesn't help, but right. Armada didn't have Gill, didn't have, Pittsburgh's first round pick from Roy, whose name escapes me right now, but they're both injured. They have quite a few injuries with the Armada, but hey, it's an opportunity to step up. It was a little bit difficult down low for Xavier Villeneuve on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's going to be the question, and I've seen lists. I've seen him as high as top 5. I think Snake has him in his top 5. I think that might be a little generous, at this point. Yeah. NHL teams are still, I'd be surprised if he's a top 5 pick at this point.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think that either. No, not top 5. I think he might slap into the top 10, maybe, depending on what he does. Second half of the year is going to mean a lot, and there's a lot of hockey left to play. But he's also an older prospect, right? And that matters too, right? So
it does.
I think he's going to be more 10 to 15 at this point, more or less.
Yeah.
Again, I'm starting to get my feet wet into this year, but that's what I'm looking at more than top 5.
I mean, there's a lot of impressive defensemen in this group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not that will also factor in. Lynn, Carell's, Verhoff, all of these guys might go ahead of him, right?
Yeah,
because they're excellent prospects. But
right,
Villeneuve does have the offensive skills that there'll be NHL teams that don't have him top 20 probably. It's but there might, all it takes is one, and there might be a team that says, well, we need that power play quarterback. We can hopefully, maybe protect him with a big guy in a 10 to 15 minutes, even strength, but have him running our power play type guy until, hopefully he does evolve his defensive game. Like Quinn Hughes, when he first came into the NHL, was not very good defensively. It's safe to say, and he got better as he gained confidence and was taught, little tricks that a smaller defenseman utilize your speed in certain, instances. Like Girard. Do you remember back to Samuel Girard in his draft year? How would you compare Villeneuve and Girard in their draft years?
I think there's that creativity that maybe Villeneuve brings, and again that ability to find lanes. But I think with Girard, the advantage he had is, if I recall well, and my memory's not always the best, but I think Girard was a little bit stockier though, so he could handle that game better, right? And with his skating and his positioning and a little bit of stockiness, you put the three of them together, and I think it was easier for him to defend down low. With Villeneuve, it's more difficult. He doesn't have that. It's not very strong physically, so he's got to be really pinpoint accuracy in his positioning, and he's got to always get to the puck first and quickly find his man. And again, but I get back to the same thing, right? He's a bit of an older prospect than
Right.
others.
Yeah.
So he might have been a little bit more developed physically than other guys. And that's where later on, as we get into the physical testings and all those things that the NHL teams do, I think it's going to also matter quite a bit in a guy like Villeneuve. But yeah, to compare him to Girard, I think there was, although he was smaller, it was easier for Girard to defend than it was for Villeneuve when they don't have the puck, in my opinion.
Because I wasn't crazy about Girard's defending in his draft year. So if Villeneuve's a step below that, and I could see that being, then, you know, just we have to halt the hype train a little bit on him. Yes, we love his offensive skills, but the next offensive defenseman there's no guarantee that he's the next Cole Hudson or Lane Hudson.
Right?
Like, we can't all just say, oh, well, he's going to be the next Lane Hudson. Well, Lane is so competitive and so smart defending. Like, is Villeneuve as competitive as Lane Hudson, would you say, at this point?
It was hard to tell. But there's another thing, too, to consider, though, when you're comparing the two, right? Where Lane Hudson, I don't know what the details are, right? But he showed up with some x-rays that showed that he's got a condition that his body developed a little later. And supposedly he had shown up with a doctor's note and all that. So when you're projecting, you could say, okay, the development is a bit slower, but he might hit his peak at the age of 20. Where Villeneuve, if he hits his peak at the age of 17, 18, we have a problem there because he's 18.
Right.
I think he just turned 18, if I'm not mistaken. He's not 17 still. So if he's hit his limits physically, we're going to have a problem. That's going to be an issue. Where with Lane Hudson, you're projecting that there's still a lot more to go.
Yeah.
And you could tell, right? His legs are tree trunks, right? With Lane Hudson, his core and his lower body is really strong, and it makes a difference when you can get down low and push off that and get that extra little bit of strength from your core. Boy, does that make a whole difference when you're in the corners trying to muck it up for the puck. And so Villeneuve, I'm not sure if he has that ability that Lane Hudson has, and that's going to be a problem.
Right. Well, no, good points on, just how much more physically strong is he going to get from where he already is. You're projecting, when you're looking at draft picks, you're always projecting for 3 or 4 years down the road. How much more can he improve, right? And if there's some questions there with that on Villeneuve, that will hurt him on draft day too. So
yeah,
at this point, go ahead.
Sorry, when you're picking top 15 or top 20 or even top 25, you want to, there's projecting, but there's a worry when you're projecting, when you're drafting that high. Where Lane Hudson was picked in the second round, so they weren't worried about how long it would take. Second round pick, you could wait forever. I'm not worried about that. If you're picking a guy 10, 15 with the expectations of a first round pick, it's a bit scarier to have to project 4 or 5 years down the line when there's a lot of things that have to go right. So I'm intrigued where guys are going to pick him at the draft this year. It's going to be really interesting.
Well, they weigh the bust potential with the home run potential, and you got to weigh one against the other, the risk factor against the home run factor, and balance it out. Like, even the year Cole Hudson, a lot of people, well, like, he could be, like, he could be, but there's still some concerns there, and they still didn't pick him in the first round, right?
No.
Is Villeneuve a better offensive defenseman than Cole Hudson? Maybe. Cole Hudson was pretty damn dynamic, I mean, look what he did at the World Juniors. Is Villeneuve going to top that? Maybe. But at the end of the day, Cole Hudson still went in the second round. So I'd be surprised at this point. I mean, there's a lot of runway left here yet, obviously, but I'd be surprised if he's considered in the top 5 at this point. Snake likes to, he likes to have that bold pick in the top 5, and he had McCarr first overall, and it panned out. So he doesn't mind taking that swing and saying, "Oh yeah, this guy's top 5 for me." And if it pans out, he looks looks great. And if it doesn't, well, it's not the end of the world either. I like that Snake is bold with some of these guys. He always likes to get a bold pick in there in
good
the
for him
top
on
10,
that.
and that's great. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But like from an NHL team standpoint and my experience, and in talking to NHL scouts a lot, I'd be surprised right now. I'd be surprised if he was a top 10 pick. If he is,
I would
then
too.
it's the Hudson factor. Then if he is,
Yeah.
I think.
And another thing too, when you want to comparables, does he have the core strength of a Sandin Pellikka even, right? Who's
Right.
doing, like Sandin Pellikka, also a shorter guy, but he has those big legs, and he's not totally like uh he's got half decent strength for a guy his size. I found, like, at least he could, when he went to the corners to get to the puck, it wasn't like a quick loss, right? He could battle a little bit and get himself a little bit of time. And see, does Villeneuve have even that? I don't know, right? And Sandin Pellikka was what, 16, 17 pick, maybe even a bit later than that from
Right.
for Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? I agree with you though. Top 10, I don't see it. I really don't.
Okay.
Not at this point. But
Right.
if he has a really strong second half and he develops and he corrects those flaws down low, that could change. It's super early in the process.
Yeah, for sure. And no, I like. I knew that you'd give an honest answer on that, and not just hometown bias. Guy playing for BLB. That's one of the reasons why you're the chief scout of Recruits HabsCast, my friend.
Let's hope I don't have a problem next time I go see a game there.
That's right. No, well, you tell it like it is, and I appreciate that, Rick. I don't know if you got time to stick around for the prospect of the week. If you have to get going right now, we're at 52. You got time?
Yeah, I got another 15 minutes or so. I'm good for
do you?
that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Habs prospect of the week. I think it was a bit of a no-brainer this week. It would be Mr. Alexander Zharovsky.
Oh, a
Let's have
prospect
a
who's
look
flying
at a
under the
couple.
radar for the Habs, right?
That's right. Here's a couple of his assists. That was a nice play by him. This one here, Rick, is there was a nice down low pass, so he picked up a second. But this one on the power play, he's in the left here, in the left wall. He makes 3. That was a great pass. And then look at the puck skills again. Holds it,
Oh, wow.
gets it to the guy in the slot. 2 great passes. How about 3?
Oh.
So running the power play in the KHL at 18 years of age, that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Gonna be man. His teammates must be begging to be on the line with this guy. I just have to leave my stick down and just wait for it to come, baby.
Yeah. But at 18 years of age, he's doing stuff that even no other 18-year-old done at that level. He's a point per game, and the all-time best as an 18-year-old is .735, Kuznetsov, and he's already like a quarter of a point per game. He's averaging that, and I don't think it's going to be slowing down. Like, he's been getting more ice time as it goes along.
Right.
Salavat's not a great team, so he's on the first power play there, and he's running it basically. So I think the point totals may even go up, and he might be more than point a game. He played today and didn't get a point, but he got 5. He got 5 in 2 games, a goal and 2 assists, and 2 assists, 5 points in 2 games. That's why he's our HabsCast Prospect of the week. Habs Prospect of the week. He's
Wow.
Here's the other game, Rick, that he had 3 points in. Let's have a look here. Okay, he won the face-off. I didn't get the stats today. I don't know if somebody wants to chime in on whether he played center today or not. I didn't even know he was playing till I was just getting ready, but he got a point off of the face-off. Here was a bit of a fluky one. This was his goal. Originally, they gave him an assist on it, but it kind of bounced off of a couple of guys there, and we'll just everybody celebrating here. Coach not too happy, but see that it was Rodewald that was celebrating, but it was Zharovsky that ends up getting the goal. Here's the replay. Puck comes over to him here, tries to get it in. This was one of those pinball. Like, check this out. Ding. And then off the defenseman and in. Kind of reminded me of the tying goal there a little bit last night with Monty.
Yeah, right.
Going off Matheson, eh?
Yeah.
That was unfortunate. But here was his other assist. He was over on the wall, got it over, and it picked up the secondary assist. So that was 3 points in 2 games at the KHL level at 18 years of age. I don't know if any other 18-year-olds ever done that in the KHL, got picked up 5 points in 2 games, but if they did, it wasn't very often. Michkov, Kaprizov, Tolvanen, Kuznetsov, people just raved about what they were doing, how their point production at 18 in the KHL. Zharovsky's blowing them all away so far. So you don't hear as much hype from other fans, but certainly Canadians fans are definitely excited about him, hyping him. And I think maybe other teams are a little sick of these, friggin' Hudson and Demidov, Slav. Now this kid, embarrassment of riches coming up in the pipeline the last 3 years, right?
Oh yeah, and I'm a big I'm a big fan of players that improve on area of weaknesses, if you will. And it wasn't an area of weakness, but Zharovsky last year, to a lot of us, and I believe for you too, Grant, is what you mentioned, is that Zharovsky had the hands, right? That was the big thing with Zharovsky last year. We loved the way he controlled the puck. We loved all those things he did, and as he's playing into a higher level, you can't hold on to the puck as long. It is the KHL, but you are playing against men. So he adapts. He's a really good puck handler, but he's also a good puck mover. He doesn't hold on to the puck too long at this level because he knows he can. That's incredible to me, is that you adapt your game so easily from one year to the next, and you improve on things, and you become a better player that way. That is really the impressive part for me.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm just trying to look at the stats here from the game today, and it's in Russian. It didn't translate for me. You silly geese. Can you see the comments there, Rick?
No, I can't. I'm sorry. I don't have access to them. I'm sorry about that.
If you click on comments, do you have comments on the right side of your
Yes, I do, actually. Thank you for telling me. I did not know about that.
If you click on that, Rick, you can see. You should be able to. Can you see them? No. Okay. Hey, is anybody mentioning that he played center today?
Serge Gingras said Zharovsky has played center the past few games, but today not sure. They're not giving him a lot of faceoffs, however, but he is over 50%.
Okay. Just looking here. 97. Oh, that's Volkov. Wrong 97. Zharovsky. Yeah, I don't think he. Oh no! Wait a sec. Yeah, he took 15 draws today.
Okay, so
he was playing second most draws on the team, and he won 6. So 40% on faceoffs.
That's okay.
1453 in ice time. So yeah, they got him playing. Looks like they're going to be developing him at center, and that, as you know, Rick, that only bodes well for developing his defensive game. Even if he ends up playing on the wing, playing center at 18 in the KHL, there's no better way of developing your defensive game. You know,
No, there's a lot of ice to cover. You really got to be on top with your positioning, and that's some of the things you hear in the past, right? Where you say playing in European hockey doesn't prepare you for the NHL, the physicality, and then yeah, maybe it doesn't, but it does help your positional game quite a lot. You can't overcommit at this league because you will get burned.
Yeah, for sure. I am just thoroughly impressed with this kid. I know I can tend to be a little bit optimistic when it comes to Habs prospects, you could say, but this kid looks like the real deal. Like I think the Canadians may well have gotten another guy that's top 10 when we look back a decade from now, top 10 pick that he should have been in the draft. And I get why. It was the risk factor balanced against the home run potential thing. And NHL teams tend to be a little conservative when it comes to this. Just like Demidov, right? There was the risk of not having scouted him live really much, having to depend on your Russian scout exclusively other than just watching on video, not getting medical reports, and he had been injured once in his draft year. The factor of things being so unsettled between Russia and the Western world. All of these things played factors in why teams 2 through 4 passed on him for other players. But the Canadians, got to give them credit for not being afraid to go for the home run. Like even Fowler, right? You looked at his stats in his draft year and the year before, they had been insane. And he didn't have a typical body, athletic body. He was overweight. There were these risk factors, but third round, they said 70, whatever it was. Look at this guy. All he does is win, stop pucks, right? Yeah, we can work on his body. Maybe we can get him in better shape, and he might be a home run. So they picked him. Same with Hudson, who was thought to be 5'8", I think, at in his draft year, like at the combine and stuff, 155 pounds or whatever. Just somebody that small had never been picked in the first round. So, but by the 60s, Canadians look at it and say, look, okay, what, maybe 20% of players at this point in the draft end up making it. So, yeah, there's a risk factor there, but there's a risk factor with every player picked at that point in the draft. Agree. And the Canadians looked at it and said, hey, let's take the risk.
Yeah.
And it paid off, and it's paying off with Lane Hudson, and it's paying off, with Demidov at 5, even though I think any team probably would have taken him at 5 at that point. And it's paying off with Zharovsky. I think he's already shown that he should have been a first-round pick for sure.
Yeah. And to the defense a bit of the previous regime, they spent years and years and years trading away second-round picks for yes. I don't know how many years. So it's nice to say we should take a chance. A scouting team should take a chance, and when you have talent like that, but it's kind of hard to do when you only have one pick in the top 60, where you kind of go, I can't take too much of a chance because this is the only chance I have, right? You give a team a few options, though, and you're like, well, I could take a chance here and there, and I could balance that out a bit with a few safer picks also, and get a few riskier choices. You can do that. That's why the idea of constantly saying, well, it's just draft picks, it doesn't matter. You got to be careful giving, especially in the first 2 rounds, right? You could give away draft picks a bit later without too much of an issue, but those top 60, those top two first rounds are really important to have them, and you should only give them up when you have a lot of depth in your organization, or if you're really in the peak of your contention. Besides that,
Yeah.
be careful, man. Just keep them so that you could pick these guys.
I mean, the more top 64 picks you have, the better chance you got of getting NHL players. Like the Canadians, right? They Bergevin did start to stockpile second round picks, and they drafted Struble, 47, right? And they had drafted the kid Mishak, right? Mishak and Struble. Well, one of them turned out quite well. Then they draft Kidney and Kapanen, right? In the 60s. Right. One of them is proven to have been a steal at that point.
Right.
So
right.
The more assets that you accumulate top 60 when you're trying to rebuild, and Bergevin, to his credit, finally realized that and said, okay, we have to stockpile some picks here. We've got a decent scouting staff, but we're not giving them the ammunition. Why don't we give them the ammunition? And it paid off, picking Caulfield, picking Gooley, picking Struble, picking Kapanen, all those guys at the end ended up, they've helped the team now that they have the new regime in. They were good picks. And, that's why teams like Tampa, Toronto, Boston coming back to the pack to a certain degree because of how many first and second round picks that they've given up in the past 5-6 years. And eventually it starts to it starts to cost you when your core starts to age, right?
Yeah. And it puts you in a position where you kind of have to give away your top players, the guys that are building blocks of your organization, because you don't have any picks. If Toronto decides they have to start over now, well, they have no first round draft pick this year, and they have none on this next year either.
All right.
So how do you rebuild this? Well, that means you got to look at giving away your best players that you want to keep for a long time, but you have no choice to do that. I think Boston got away with a few first round draft picks for now, so they might not be so bad. But if they really want to rebuild this, one of their better players that they want to keep is going to have to go, because there's no other way to do it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the Leafs, like what's great about the Canadians, why I think they're going to contend for the next 5 to 10 years is they have ELCs in top 3 forward positions and top 4 defense. They're going to have them coming in over the next few years that can help balance the other salaries and allow you to pick up like a top-notch player at whatever the salary is, 10, 15 million, because you have these entry-level contracts that can help balance the big contracts that you have on the roster.
Absolutely.
The Canadians will have the flexibility to bring in a superstar if they can. And these other teams can't do that, a lot of them. So it really bodes well for the Canadians. Rick, we'll do one more quick one for you and let you go here. Just, kind of a honorable mention here. Vinny Rohr's goal the other day.
Oh, yeah.
The Bobby Orr, eh?
The Bobby Orr.
He did the Bobby Orr. That was his first goal of the year, but reminded me a little bit of the Lehkonen goal where he got the remember when it got called off for embellishment? That ridiculous call. One of the most ridiculous calls ever, I think, in refereeing, when Cappy got tripped or not Cappy, Lehkonen got tripped and he shot in midair and they ended up giving an embellishment and waving off.
It was ridiculous.
It was.
But they got to do something about that uniform. My God, he looks like a race car driver.
Yeah, I know. Great. Well, Rick, you seem to be fading out here, so it might be a good time to let you go. Listen, I don't know. Your camera's been a little. It comes and goes with the fuzziness. I'm not sure. There we go again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's causing that, but we'll get that rectified for the next one. Rick, always
Absolutely.
a pleasure to have you on. I know you got to
Thank you,
go.
Grant.
I'll keep going for a little bit longer here and answer a few more questions. I got a Jared Davidson clip I want to show too. So,
All right. Well,
okay.
everyone, thanks very much for being a part of this. I'll see you soon. And Grant, thank you once again for having me on. And we'll see each other again later on this week at some point.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll have you on again, Rick. Just like
Thanks. Have a good one, Grant.
Dave didn't not yet anyways. We'll see how he sounds the next time.
You need to have these prospects pushing the veterans a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's right. Competition's healthy, my friend.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a good one, Grant.
Yeah,
take it
take
easy.
care. Rick Springhetti. What a great guy, eh? Offsets my sometimes grouchiness at times. Gotta love Rick. Let's have a quick look at Davidson's 2 goals the other night. Nice pass. Actually, that was an assist to Engstrom. Engstrom's playing well too. Here's you gotta love his release, right? Yeah, the goalie maybe should have had it, but you know why he didn't? That friggin' quick release. He's got fantastic and here's the other one. Love how Davidson followed up on the play, fought off the check, put in the rebound. So our honorable mention runner-up this week, as far as prospect of the week, goes to Jared Davidson. I profiled him yesterday, put it up if you want to watch the YouTube. I tried it from a different perspective where I had not seen the video. It was made up for me and by Franco Allaire, my videographer, HabsCast videographer, made up a from the Utica game last Saturday, not this Saturday, but the Saturday before. He made up a video, and I watched it in real time for the first time and commented on it as the video was going along. A la the all the music videos you see. I don't know if you've ever watched one. I watch them a lot. Is people's reaction to songs that they haven't necessarily heard before and what they think of them. It's kind of a cool. I think it's kind of a cool thing for music fans that you see a lot online, and I thought I'd try that format with a scouting video, and it was kind of cool. So if you want to check that out, it's up on the it's up on our YouTube channel. Let's go to a few comments here, and we'll wrap it up here. See what we can. Yeah, Pierre was saying that he wasn't sure if he was playing center today. Yeah, Zharovsky, 15 more draws, so that's good. I love the fact that he's getting all of these opportunities at center. It'll only improve his defensive game, and that's probably the one thing. Just like Hage, got to work on the most. Play away from the puck. You have to be good away from the puck to play in the NHL. Coaches just, their jobs are on the line. They can't develop players in the NHL. They got to be developed before and ready to go both ends, all 3 ends, or all 3 zones at the NHL level when they do finally make it. And Pierre was saying we will be in fantastic shape cap-wise no matter what happens, and believe it will be our edge on everybody moving forward. Yeah, just echoing what I was saying about when you have so much good young talent that's going to come up and that's going to play. Reinbacher will come, Hage likely, Zharovsky. I can keep going on and on. Fowler. When these guys come up, if they're still on the ELCs, they'll balance off the bigger contracts. And the Canadians have no exorbitant deals. There's not one player on the team that you could say, wow, this is just, especially with the cap going up like it is. Yeah, Anderson's deal is not great, but it's still you know, I mean, it's up at the end of this year, right? Gallagher's is up soon too. They're the only ones where you could say, yeah, they're overpaid a little bit, but they're still not. It's not like they're $12 million deals and that they've got 5 years left on them, right? So all of the guys are locked in at reasonable prices or even below expectations, especially when you see these contracts that are being signed. Like Cooley, Cooley's getting $2.5 million more than Slav, or 2 or 3 million more. I don't know. That's I wouldn't say that Cooley's $2-3 million more valuable than Slav at this point. Cooley'd be second line center on the Canadiens. Slav is a huge component of Montreal's first line, which, by the way, I don't know, points wise, they got to be right at the top, right? Goals. What first line has more goals than the Habs? Maybe none. Slav, 6 goals now. He's on pace for 40, 41. I said earlier in the year, I don't know if Slav will be a 30-goal scorer. Well, I'll have to go back on that. He might score 30 this year. I didn't say he'd never be a 30-goal scorer, but a consistent 30-goal scorer. I was wondering about that, but you know what? He's getting goals now like he has to. That big body, in close to the net, many different ways, get to the right position, get great passes from Caulfield and Suzuki, be positioned right. They don't have to be pretty goals. They can be tip-ins. They can be redirections. They can be, gimme goals like the one like Suzuki set him up. Great. That was a beautiful pass by him. All Slav had to do was be in the right spot. And I'll have to amend my thoughts on that by saying, he's figuring it out that he's not going to be a score a lot of fancy goals probably, but if he gets to the right positions, shoots when necessary, shoots more often. He is doing that so far this year. Slav, 25 to 35 goal scorer. I think he can be a regular 25 to 35 goal scorer. And hey, when you consider all the other things that he brings to the table there, that's pretty that's pretty valuable. And we'll see in 3-4 years if Cooley should be getting 2-3 more million than Slav. But for me, hockey players aren't all just about points. You can look back. If you looked at the highest scoring players in NHL history, there's guys in there that have more points than players that maybe average 10, 15 less points a year, but bring other things to the table, right? That make them more valuable in general. So don't get me wrong, Cooley's a great player. He's going to be their first line center. Great pick. I think both teams are happy with their picks. I saw there was a comment, and somebody from Southern Ontario commenting about how the Canadiens must regret passing on Cooley, and this was right after he signed his deal. Well, they regret not paying him $10 million a year. Like, why would they regret it because he got a bigger contract than Slav? That doesn't prove that he's going to have a better career. It just proves that they had to sign him to a bigger deal, right? Yeah, in part it's because the salary cap's gone up. If he'd have been signed last year, maybe it would have been closer to what Slav would sign for, but still, it's significantly larger contract than Slav's. And for the people that criticized that deal at the time, I don't know, if he scores 30 to 40 goals this year, Slav keeps doing what he's doing all around game. I don't know if you noticed a couple of times the defensive plays that he made last night, but his defensive game just keeps getting better and better. I said it a couple of years ago, and I think it's don't be surprised in a year or two. Eventually, here you see him on the PK too. I think as he continues to improve, continues to figure out, where to play away from the puck, what to do. His defending skills are going to be so good. He's already really good at getting the puck away from players. He's getting better and better at it in the defensive zone. He's making fewer and fewer mistakes in the defensive zone. I think he can and will be an impact player defensively in his prime. And there's a lot of potential for him to be an impactful penalty killer down the road in the NHL, in my opinion. And that's just another layer that you can add to his game, which is quite promising. Slav is on a good contract. Yeah, I agree, Sheldon. Slav better than Cooley. Well, I'm not necessarily saying he's better, but I think he brings more dimensions, right? It's not all just about skill and points, especially like if Slav was 5'10" and skilled center, then you could compare them better. But it's two different players, right? And you can't. I don't think you can compare Slav to other players just based solely on point totals because of the other things that he brings, opening up space for his line mates, his board work, his defensive play. I think he's better defensively than Cooley at this point, and that might only improve. LPB, I think Cooley's more dynamic and will be a bigger point producer and will be their future number one center. But yeah, brings something we desperately need. Yeah, there you go. It's kind of echoing what I was saying. Renaissance Resistor. We all know it would have been the first overall pick in a redo. Demodov is entering that conversation as well. Maybe, top. Yeah, it's top three. Slav, Cooley, and Hudson. Pick your poison. All three great players, right? And it might be Hudson that would go first overall if you redid it today. But it's early. I always like to LPB. Hughes really liked Cooley too, but Slav with that package was too hard to pass on. The perspective of him being a dominant player in the playoffs. Yeah, that's right. I think he can. That's where he'll really shine down the road, I think, is in the playoff, in tight checking playoff games. You'll see Slav rise to just as he did, in international competitions when he was 17, 18, to go to the Olympics and did what he did. Nobody's ever done that at that age. And it showed that he can, what important games, a guy like him can rise to the top. Yeah, Hughes really liked Cooley too. It was three guys that he would mention, right? That we're going to pick either Cooley, Slavkovsky, or Wright. I personally knew that they weren't picking Wright. I was 100% positive of that. But there would have been such a media backlash because the media and the fans were, right up till it started to change a bit about May. And I think, not that I'm going to take a lot of credit for it, but I just was drilling on that constantly for 3 months today. Wright may not be the first pick. He's not playing like first pick. He shouldn't be the first pick. And I swung a few people around, but others started to, as word got through the grapevine, reporters would find out from scouts and stuff that, in fact, I was onto something there, that Wright may not be the first overall pick. So it became less of a uproar when some people would suggest that maybe Slav goes first, maybe Cooley goes first, but still, it was still the vast majority of media and fans were, oh, Wright's got to be number one. Wright's got to be the first pick. So even though I think that Hughes was just saying that to appease these people and not to bring all the negative attention that would have been brought on by him saying, oh, well, it's going to be either Slav or Cooley. But that's what it was. It was between those two, and Wright was mentioned publicly, but internally, the Canadians weren't picking Wright. And Wright's reaction to it, being so upset because he'd been led to believe perhaps he thought, oh, the Canadians are telling him that, we're going to pick you or whatever. But teams put up smoke screens all the time, right? Like you're not going to tell Wright, oh no, we're not going to pick you. They're just not. It's a poker game, and you don't reveal all your cards, and right up till they announced Slav, I had no idea for sure. I didn't know that if it was going to be Slav. I thought it would be, but they did a good job of playing poker and not revealing their cards there. So, yeah. Pierre, along with Demidov in the power play, the best part of the season for me is Slav shutting up the Craig's pie hole with a superb play. There you go. What do you think of that hit by Bolduc too, right? Put Sanderson over the boards, and then of course McDermott comes in and takes a stupid penalty and then sits on the bench the rest of the game. Loved it. Renaissance Resistor, all the Sens fans comparing Sanderson to Hudson always neglect to mention them picking Yakimchuk over Buell. Yeah. Hey, it's a year ago. Come on. You don't judge defense careers at 19, 20 years of age. Yakimchuk's going to be a really good defenseman. He needs more time. And typically a 6'3" defender, we're seeing it with Reinbacher, right? You got to give them time to develop, grow into their bodies, learn to play quickly at the at the pro pace. It takes time for a bigger defenseman, always, just about in every circumstance, than it does for a quicker, more offensive minded defender. Let's just we'll hold off on judging their careers just yet. Yeah, Buell looks better than Yakimchuk right now, but Yakimchuk certainly has the size and the capability of becoming a more stout defender. He'll have to work on a lot of things to be that, but yeah, at this point, you'd say Buell looks better than Yakimchuk and probably has a better career. But I like to not to jump the gun on these things when it's a year or two after defensemen are drafted. Just like Reinbacher and Michkov, I said for 2 years, wait and see. Okay, and I think we're already getting the second year of Michkov is 1 goal so far, benched again already. Not great away from the puck. Not an all-around player at this point in his career. We'll see. Wouldn't be surprised by mid-season next year. People are already starting to say, well, maybe Reinbacher was the right pick over Michkov. But we'll see. It's way too early to judge those guys. Rule of thumb is 5 years, right? You wait 5 years to see. And so I'm not going to break that rule just so I can rag on the Sens a bit, even if I would like to. Clavin's hit on Carrier was clearly interference. He didn't even touch the puck before getting hit. Yeah, it was much different than the You know, you can't compare the two. That's why, and I'll give Veleno, you know, some credit for sticking up. I wish it would have been Doc that had stuck up for him instead of Veleno. You talk about mismatches, Stephen. There was a mismatch in size, right? Clear mismatch in size, Clevin and Veleno. But I would have preferred it was Doc that stepped in there. Doc can handle himself. And he's the same size as Clevin. That's the one. That's a fight I would have rather seen. But I get it that Veleno was the closest, and he's showing. Veleno showing, even if he didn't have a great game last night, that impressed me. That will help him in the locker room. Just showing to the coaches and to his teammates that, hey, I'm here. I'm one of the guys. I'm here to do whatever it takes to help this team. And I've loved Veleno's attitude. I love what he's doing, and I think it's just great that he stuck up for what I thought was certainly a lot dirtier hit than. Well, that was a clean hit by Bolduc. Maybe you can say I'm being a little biased. I think if you look at it objectively, that was a lot cleaner hit than the Clevin one. I don't know. When I'm in the middle of a podcast, guys, I can't really be. That's your job, guys. Get on your computer, look it up. If you go to if you type in Kapanen reference, hockey reference, go to his season, and it'll give you his faceoffs won, faceoffs lost, and percentage. Hockey reference is the best. Take like 2 seconds, guys. I don't want to risk opening up any more windows here and lagging, so I can't really do it at this point. But go to just Kapanen reference, hockey reference, click on the player, go to his season. Like you scroll down a little bit, like his seasons so far, go over to faceoffs won, lost. Hockey reference is my hockey Bible now. Love him. Yeah. Steven, just, I know you like to argue, but just get off it, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. Cousins is listed 185 pounds. He might be 195 for all we know. Like, there could only be 10 pounds difference there. Whatever. They're a lot closer to being a match than it would have been Jack-Eye. And that was the only point I was making. Okay. So that's about the 5th, 6th comment you made about it. I don't wish to debate it anymore. Okay. Pierre Gingras, last night Kapanen was awesome in the dot. I believe he's now around 52%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I wasn't bringing up that, Steve. Anyway, I just, we're not on here to argue points continuously. I wasn't still arguing the point. Anyway, thanks, Steve. I just, I wish people wouldn't dwell on semantics that don't really matter. It doesn't matter that Struble's a little bigger than Nick Cousins. The fact is that they fought. Struble pounded him, and good on him. I mean, there's only 2 guys that are smaller than Cousins on the Habs that could have fought him. So, also the only 2 bad contracts on the team, Galley and Anderson, are not hurting us and are expiring the season after this one. Yeah, well said. I agree with it. I agree completely, 100%. Sorry, Steve. I just I don't like debating too much with stuff. Let it go. Grant, any way you can get Kapanen's face off? Yeah, we already had that one. Sorry about that. They will Shell and the price 1 billion million. Well, okay, guys. You got any questions? Ask me a couple here and I'll wrap things up. We're up over 90 minutes now. Johnny Golden, 51.7% face-off for the year. Wow. Not bad at all, eh? Not bad. Yeah. I'm impressed by when you're a rookie in the NHL and you are winning more face-offs than 50%. Like if you look at Suzuki in his first couple of years, like it was around 45, 45, 47%. And Kapanen won a couple of really like just won them cleanly, right? So it was really nice to see. Francois Bedard, Michkov versus Demidov on Tuesday. Yeah. There you go. Could be fun. Here's hoping Michkov doesn't score a hat trick with 3 turnovers. Like, here's hoping Demidov doesn't pass the puck to him like Batherson got the puck over to Newhook. Yeah, we can only hope that that's the case. And Jeff, second line center or a few more in your face depth players for playoffs? Thanks for the question, Jeff. Yeah, exactly. Second line center might be something that they look at. I don't know if it's necessarily second line center because Kapanen is showing, I think, that he can be the second line center, but another center would be would definitely be something. I think what they need is a center for the Doc line, perhaps. Doc, Bolduc, and a center, right? And if it's a really good center, you might say, well, okay, so this is your second line, but any line with Demidov on it, you have to look at it as potentially being the second line. But I think what I've noticed too, Kapanen and Demidov are starting to find each other out there. They made some nice plays to each other. Kapanen set up Demidov for a couple of nice one-timers and vice versa. And Demidov said it a few games ago. Kapanen's such a smart player, I have to find him. And it takes a while to learn that when you're playing with another player that, you can play together, that you can feed off of each other, right? So I like how that line is developing. Newhook is having his best year ever playing with these two guys, so they're clearly helping him too. I don't change that second line right now. Team's 9-3. They're all under 25 years of age. They're only going to get better. Keep them together. Maybe pick up another center, but does it have to be somebody that replaces Kapanen? Not necessarily. I don't think. I like what's going on there with those guys. Marky 444. Hey, Greg, did you watch Reinbacher's first game with the Rocket? I did not. I got to have a look. I'm going to do a scouting video on Reinbacher this week. I like to typically, when you're playing your first game of the year and it's basically November, I don't put too much stock in that on a player. Give them a couple games to get acclimatized to the pace again, up to game speed. I will, I'll have a look at Reinbacher this week, but I didn't want to dwell on his first game back because typically it takes a game or two to get your skating legs back. And he even said so that, it's going to take him a little while. So but I will do a video that will come up on the Patreon this week. And thanks for the question. Ashken P. Grant, who do you think has a better future, Demidov or Michkov? Most people, I think, would know my answer to that already. I already have. There's a lot of Flyer fans out there that don't like me because I've been saying it for 2 years that Demidov is the better prospect. I'm only more convinced of that now. Better all around, better defensively, bigger, more dynamic, better skater. There's no real. Maybe Michkov's got a little more goal scoring ability, maybe, but they're different in that regard. I'm not sure he will score more goals than Michkov. Give me Demidov, than Demidov. Give me Demidov over Michkov, but time will tell. It's still early. Like I keep preaching, you wait 5 years. So I'm not going to make a career declaration at this point on who will be better. Frankie Daig, nice being live with y'all. Yeah, it is great, guys. Unfortunately, I wear my heart on my sleeve, right? If I'm pissed off about something, you'll find out about it. Sorry that Steve got miffed about it, but I just, there's no use harping on something about whether a guy's a cruiserweight or a heavyweight. 1 or 2 comments, move on. Danault would definitely be cheap, Pierre. He's not having a great year. Yeah. Maybe. It will depend on, LA, what they want to do. But that's an interesting thought that you maybe bring back with Phil Danault. And that might be perfect too, right? Because you put him with Doc and Bolduc. I like the makeup of that line. And you have a 2A, 2B scenario or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, for sure. Marky, sorry for misspelled. Hey, man, I get called Greg all the time. Believe me, that's nothing new. Yeah, no problem. I assume you're not a regular, Ashkin. Yeah. No, most regulars would know that I'm definitely in the Demidov corner. Sheldon, I'm not. Thanks for coming on, Ashkan. Thanks for asking a question. We like to have a little fun here, and hey, it's all good. I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer here. I love these live shows. I love the comments. I love what everybody's been saying. I used to be told all the time, and Yellow with Sick podcast, oh, keep it under an hour. But I noticed Tony's doing 2-hour French shows there during the week now. The live show is a little different, I think, especially when you when you interact and want to interact with your with the live chat. Like, I think it's important, and I really appreciate the people contributing, asking questions, and ask me a few more here, guys, and then I'll wrap it up, okay? Gotta go have something to eat. Ashken, Grant, I'm not sure if you already answered this. What do you think of Kadri coming over? Ashken's definitely not been following me on Twitter or or some other YouTubes. Well, I think the Canadians should trade for Michkov, Kadri, and no, I'm just kidding, Ashken. No, I'm not. I did a video with the 2 guys from the Sens, TSN 1200 on Friday. You might want to check it out. We got into a good debate there. about it. Me and AJ Jackiebeck, he thought, Canadians, Kadri'd be a good fit for the Canadians, but hey, he may, we talked off air later, and he said, "Yeah, I don't like Kadri either, like person." So maybe it's just a sense thing. So yeah, you guys got to get Kadri, But yeah, I'm not. There are several reasons why I'm not. First of all, just personally, somebody that like what would Brendan Gallagher, the longest standing Montreal Canadian player, the one of the leaders in the dressing room, what would he think of adding a guy that he probably despised and hated playing against when he was with the Leafs for all those years? What would he think of having Kadri in the dressing room, just from a chemistry standpoint alone, not, let alone the 3 years that you have to, you have to have this guy at 36, 37, 38. And I think his point totals are going to keep diminishing, and is typically 35 to 38 forward. You're on the decline. And at 7 million plus, I don't know. Like, do they have to bring in Kadri to replace Kapanen at 8 times the cost, upset the chemistry when that line is just doing so great together? They're 9-3, it just, I don't, there's several reasons why I just don't think that Kadri is the answer. And I mean, I get the argument that, hey, like, it may not cost you that much. No, but I think it costs you in the future. And the Canadians, they don't need any bad salaries. They're going to have to sign Hudson, or sorry, they signed Hudson. They're going to have to sign Demidov in a couple of years. They're going to have to sign. There'll be some bigger signings. And if you've got this $7 million contract you're stuck with a declining asset in a couple of years, when I think the Canadians are really, what if they're $8 million or $10 million contract away from truly contending for the cup, and they can't fill it because they're too close to the salary cap because they've got Kadri, a declining asset? No, I personally would pass on Kadri. But thanks for the question, Ashkin, and I do appreciate it. Matthew Hart, what do you think of Barrett Hayton? Could the Habs get him? I don't know. Hayton's not a great skater, and I think the Canadians are building a team based on speed here. He's never quite, obviously, he's a top 10 pick. He's never quite panned out, showing his potential at the NHL level. That's an interesting, I hadn't thought of Barrett Hayton, but, Utah's in a similar situation to Montreal, where they're kind of building for the future. They've got a good up-and-coming younger team, and Hayton's, his prime is still ahead of him, really. Do they are they looking to trade a guy that's mid-20s? It doesn't really make sense, I don't think, for Utah to trade him. But I don't mind the player. He's a smart player. I just I don't know that for A, they'd be looking to trade him, and B, that he'd necessarily be a good fit. Look at this guy. Rick, geez, we should have kept you on the show. You're still here, buddy. Fellow Verdunner's here. There you go. Seeing some new names on here. Sean Peter Murphy. Hey, Sean. Don't be afraid to speak up. Greetings from Verdun. Philippe Saint Laurent. Thank you, Philippe. Any relation to Dollar Saint Laurent? We had Liam yesterday, Liam McGuire. I put up a video that talked about Larry Robinson, new 19 meeting Dollar Saint Laurent, old 19s. That's how they greet each other. Hey, new 19. Hey, old 19. Dallaire was a great. I think he won 5 or 6 cups on defense with the Canadians back in their heyday, the late 50s era. Francois Bedard, outside of trades, what do you think the Habs need to improve? I think they just need experience, really. Keep improving their face-off numbers. They keep going up. I'm encouraged by that, but penalty kill, keep working on that, improving that as you go along. Improve their backup goaltending. That would be nice. I don't know how you let's just hope that Monty comes around here, right, with time. And but yeah, I think they don't need to improve a heck of a lot. Just keep gaining experience, and they'll naturally improve, I believe. Danault 57 in the dot this year. He's like 55 to 60, I think, every year. He'd be such a Danault would be such a nice ad, wouldn't he? Bring him back. I would have no issues with bringing back Danault, but hey, LA's not out of the playoff race by any means. It wouldn't make sense for them to be dealing Danault at this point. If they fall out of the race, you never know. You never know. If they were interested in old center with no offensive upside, they would have kept Dvorak, no? Well, yeah. Dvorak has some offensive upside. Have a look at his stats there. They're not that bad. Second half last year, he showed offense. He was one of the better scorers on the Canadians. And did you see that behind him? He made a couple of beautiful plays this year playing for Philly. And he's not old either, really. Like for a two-way center in the NHL, late 20s, that's not old. He's in his center prime, the NHL. But yeah, I know where you're coming from, Marky. We'll take a couple of more here, and I will wrap it up. Johnny Golden, I think we will see the captain line get more ice time as the season goes on. You agree, Grant? Yeah, I do. I think that I think it's hard to be a rookie center in the NHL and average 15 minutes a game. You don't see it very often, but he is on the PK, so he already has the coach's trust defensively. I think he played more last night. You're seeing it in fits and starts. They put him out a few more times, I think, late in game and after power plays and stuff than they were. And I think slowly but surely the coach is starting to trust Kapanen a little more to play, just a little more and more as they go along. So I don't think it's going to be a huge increase in ice time, but yeah, a little more, I hope, as the season goes along. Matthew Hart, do you like Owen Tippett if the Habs could get him? Again, it's got to be, it's got to make sense for the team that's got him. Owen Tippett's, one of the Flyers' top 2 forwards right now. He's not old. He's in his prime. He's part of the future for the Flyers. They want to win in 2 or 3 years. Owen Tippett's in his prime, right? So it just, they have to be realistic targets. And I don't think Owen Tippett, there's be no reason why the Flyers would be looking to trade Owen Tippett at this point. Would he be a fit? Sure. He's one of the fastest players in the league. Great shot. I don't see the Flyers giving that up anytime soon. We're going to need Monty to get back to form. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Philippe, patience with goalies. Look at Allen. He is still rocking. Monty will be fine. Maybe. A lot of goalies lose it and don't get it back too. We've seen a lot of starting goalies the next year in the league, Philippe, that are by the end of the year aren't even playing. So maybe he'll be fine. Maybe not. We haven't seen signs yet that he's going to be fine. Been saying this for 5 games now. Well, he will be fine. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I've never personally thought Monty was the future in goal. He's kind of the placeholder for when a true number one emerges. A serviceable starting goalie for a club that's on the rise, but for a true contender, I'm uncomfortable with Samuel Montembeault being the number one goalie on a contender. I don't think he's that caliber. A step below it. And I hope that Dobish or Fowler emerges. And right now it's Dobish for me. More upside than Monty. Bigger, more athletic. I think probably has, at this point, has a better mindset. And we'll see. But I hope that Dobish emerges as the number one goalie here, because I believe he's got more upside than Monty when it comes to being the number one goalie on a contender. LPB Jake's offensive touches are making us remember Dvorak finally. Yeah, he's starting to get a little more. Well, he had 6 or 7 or 8 shots on goal in one game, and he'd only had 2 up till then. Jake needed to pick it up a little bit offensively, and he's starting to come around. Monty is lost in space. I'm getting worried when he looks like Primo. Well, there's no guarantees that he's going to bounce back. So you have to, for now, Dobish has to be the guy. And, you hope that Monty rounds into shape, but we'll see. Cappy at 15:31 last night. There you go, right? I thought he had more. Ashkin Heineman fitting in with the Isles. Yes, he is. He's doing a fine job, and I'm happy for him. I like when it's good for both clubs. Simon Fournier, great job, Grant. Great show. Keep up the good work. Doc is coming alive. Watching from British Columbia. Diehard Habs fans for years. Thank you. Thank you, Simon. Simon. I don't know if it's Simon or Simon. Being in BC, they probably call you Simon. But Fournier tells me it can be both. Thank you, Mr. Fournier. Glad that you joined the show. And I really appreciate you, all of the new people that come in. Look, I'm going to wrap this up. 2 hours, right? 818 viewing. That's good numbers on this Sunday morning. Hit subscribe, please, if you haven't already, on the YouTube channel. Every bit helps. It kicks in the algorithm. Like this episode. Hype it if you're on your mobile. Dovish Tuesday night. Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Even become a member if you want. If you were here for Dave Brown, you become a member of our YouTube channel, and you can come on and talk with me on the air, on the HabsCast. And Dave was great. Loved every minute of it. We're going to try to get on Johnny Myers at some point this week. He reached out to me. He wants to be on. Maybe on Tuesday we can arrange that. Michael Whalen's another guy I hope to get on this week to have talk a few minutes. That was great with we got the dogs. Dogs are chirping in. The NFL is calling, folks. Yeah, there you go. So 2 hours in the books. I think that's good, right? Again, thanks for tuning in. Hit subscribe, hit like. I appreciate it. Probably do a show tomorrow at noon. I'm going to try to be doing a daily live show at noon every day, most of the time here. So if you can join me at lunchtime tomorrow and in the future, that'd be great. Again, thank you, everybody. And we will hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye now.